subscribe and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hello everyone, it's a great day to celebrate being 50. I'm at the Junior League of Houston today, finally for my celebration luncheon. I've been planning this for probably about 2 years in my mind, and I've changed it a bit along the way, and the last few weeks have been very busy with all the details. I've enjoyed it so much, and I can't wait to welcome my friends today to celebrate life. And I will take you along as we set up in the private room here off of the tea room at the Junior League of Houston. And I hope that we find some time to just have a quiet visit before the party starts. So come along with me for my birthday celebration day. I also wanted to show you some of the chinoiserie elements that they have at the League. As I dropped off the linens yesterday, I was reminded of all the beautiful details. So come along and I will show you. I think we've already passed a handful of them. These beautiful plates have a hint of chinoiserie with the floral design and the style of porcelain, because as you know, porcelain was founded in China. It's something that they didn't have in Europe until kaolin was discovered. Isn't that a beautiful terrine? Look at that finial. Just gorgeous. Look at this beautiful detail. This is almost a Japanese style chinoiserie with the brass feet. That's an exceptional piece. This is the tobacco leaf pattern from Madahera. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? But I wanted to highlight the upholstery on these chairs. Take a look. This has so many of the features of chinoiserie, the monkeys, the florals. Look at that. Let's go into the living room. I think I spotted some lamps too. And you know, now that chinoiserie is on my radar, I'm seeing it everywhere. Look at this beautiful detail. These lamps are exquisite. You know, I think more and more I'm seeing this design element. It's just so refreshing, and I've been in friends' homes recently where I'm seeing these design elements of chinoiserie that I had not noticed before, and I think that it's probably everywhere. Even period pieces like Downton Abbey and The Crown, I see elements of that in the royal homes. Another example of opulence and elegance is this lovely bowl, which could be used as a planter as well, and I see some of those themes that are carried out here with nature. Isn't that gorgeous? Well, we've unpacked the car. I've got all of my floral arrangements and a suitcase full of party supplies. And come on in and I'll show you what I have to work with today. I dropped off some fabulous table runners to the Junior League yesterday so that they could already place these for me. I ordered these from Spoonflower through Etsy. You can go directly to spoonflower.com. And these are custom printed and custom made according to my size. And I think these really set the tone for the event. And with the Cobalt cut crystal and these chinoiserie accent pieces, I think this is really going to be a great representation of my style and everything that brings me joy. So let me get started and you can come along as I set up for the party. I have 2 chinoiserie vases. I'm going to place one in the center of each table, and then I will place the Cobalt cut crystal on either side. So let's get started. I have so many design elements with me today. I may end up moving some things around, and I did have a bit of a surprise. For some reason I was thinking it would be one long table. That's what it's been in the past when I've had 18 guests, but with 20 it really pushed me over, and they said I needed 2 tables. Isn't that a gorgeous vase? This is one that I found on Etsy, and I later bought another one that's identical from the same seller. Maybe it's a new item, I'm not sure, but it's Bohemian Crystal, and I think it really shows off that pink quite nicely. I'll probably have to move some of these table items just so that we have some symmetry here. And this is the companion rose bowl. That's that bohemian cut glass. I think it's identical. And I will place one on each table instead of both on the same table. That way our guests can have a bit of a variety. And I'm sure they don't like me moving everything, but I need to make it work, right? I've also got some small vases, and some of these will actually be on the buffet. And I will decorate that table as well. That's where the cake will go. Here's my square chinoiserie that you've seen in the Chinoiserie episode. You see the double happiness there? Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to place this in the center of this table. Oh, I really love the look. Oh, that's so pretty. Look at the shades of pink. Here's another cobalt cut crystal. You probably remember this from the antique gallery. This is actually a basket. And I didn't plan to use this originally because I had enough symmetry with one long table, but when I found out late yesterday that it was going to be 2 tables, I scrambled to get this to the florist so that they could even it out for us today. They did an amazing job, Cornelius Florist. This is a really special piece. I got this from Macarons, which I had never bought from that website before, and it is Bohemian cut crystal from a Japanese department store in the original box. And it was probably my most expensive piece that I bought for my party today, but it's just so very special. We've got the vases placed on the table. I think it worked out quite beautifully, even though it was unexpected to have 2 tables. Now I have sheer overlay. I get these at Balsa Circle, and it's about $1 a piece. Can you believe it? I have these in almost every color, and I'll put a link in the description so that you can find them. Very inexpensive and great to add to your arsenal. And now I will see if this color works really well, kind of to weave around the vases to give it another layer. And after that, I will work on the buffet. That's my favorite part. So let's see how this might work. But I might tie the ends just to give it a finished look. I think that's a good idea. And when you're hosting a party, you have to be flexible. We had some hiccups, of course, with the 2 different tables. That kind of threw me off. Worked out in the end. In fact, I think it worked out much better. And I picked up the cake this morning, and they had the wrong design on it. So I have a friend picking it up for me. They're making a correction. It was just misunderstanding. I still don't know how it happened, but it was a bit of a surprise. But it'll look lovely. And it's always good to get here early because you never know if there's going to be something that needs your attention. Or with the cake today, that was a bit of a surprise. So we went to plan B on that. I see this table runner coming to this room more often. Maybe we'll add a touch of green for my next charity event. And that's the neat thing about Chinoiserie. It's not just the blue and white. You can add any color at Christmas time. Imagine red poinsettias with this. Wouldn't that be beautiful? From Bungalow 1904, the tassels. I introduced these in my Chinoiserie episode. Aren't they fabulous? So I will definitely drape one on each table. And again, I was thinking I would have 1 table, so it might have been good to have 4 of these, but I think this works quite nicely. I think that's great. And I'll put this at the other end since the cobalt basket is a bit on the lighter side. We'll add some visual weight to that end. This is the buffet that is always in this particular private room here at the Junior League. And normally it's against this wall here, but because we have the 2 tables, they placed it here, which is perfectly fine. It actually kind of features it a bit better. And I have several different linens. This is also from Balsa Circle. It's more of a quilted look. I love that design, and it's so inexpensive. I love Balsa. This is a velvet table runner that you probably have seen in the Chinoiserie episode. And I might combine these 2, but my favorite thing to add here is a pashmina that I got on Amazon. And look at that beautiful Chinoiserie pattern. I'm gonna drape this to complete the look because I think too many solids would be a bit on the boring side. So let me get busy and just play around here and see what works. And I would love to show you the cake right now, but my friend is bringing it since they made a mistake. I wonder if I just drape that. I don't think I want to tie the ends because it's not a sheer, but I could certainly drape it to add some dimension. And keep in mind, we'll have the cake. I do have the cake plateau with me to show you. Oh, it's going to be fabulous when it's here. And let's see how we can incorporate this. And I just love that Chinoiserie look. It was rather inexpensive on Amazon. And it may be a bit much. I might actually take away an element, but let me just see first and get the cake plateau placed here, possibly in the center, and then we'll see about that. I pulled this bamboo easel from my upstairs den, and I purchased this at the Guild shop in Houston many years ago, probably more than 20. And I remember it because it was so unusual, and it's perfect for chinoiserie. And I did bring a plate to feature here to serve as a backdrop, so I'll get that out in a minute. And I've got my cake plateau filled with Waterford crystal and Cobalt serving pieces, compotes, and a small dish because I have fabulous macarons that will be served today with dessert. So I need to make room for not only the design elements, but also our food. Look at that bowl. I found this on shopgoodwill.com, and I think it was about $15. I'm really happy to have it. Look how gorgeous that is. This is the Atlanta compote from Waterford Crystal. I picked that up at an antique shop years ago. Just love that design. This I also found at an antique shop. It's the laurel leaf design that they made in the 80s with those beautiful diamond cuts. And I have them in 2 different heights. And now you see them both together. Aren't they beautiful? This is actually not the laurel leaf. I do have a tall laurel, but I brought a different one. This I found at a bakery in Franklin, Tennessee that was closing, and I purchased a lot of their serving pieces. So I'll plan to feature the cake plateau right in the center. And my cake has been fixed, and when my friend delivers it, it'll be just perfect. And I wanted to show you this ribbon too. I have 2 different ribbons. I was very surprised to find this at Hobby Lobby, and I guess chinoiserie really is coming back. And then of course with that necklace I got at the thrift store in Franklin, Tennessee, I will drape that somewhere here today. I've got some of my design elements pulled aside, and now let me work the buffet. You can come along as I do that. This is the plate that I found at an antique shop for about $15, and I'm going to place that on this bamboo easel from the Guild shop. I did have a larger plate that I could have brought that is the Blue Willow from Johnson Brothers that I found at Team Resale, but I didn't want something so big. And I have these 2 ginger jars, so I'm trying to figure out, maybe I'll balance them out over here. And I'll place the large one at the back. This is from Bed Bath & Beyond. Aren't they gorgeous? Was such a good deal too. I like to carry out the theme of any event. And it might be more impactful to feature them together. So let me see about that. I think that works nicely, and I can still utilize these compotes for the macarons. These are servers that I had bought, I think at Goodwill years ago. They look like Waterford crystal. It's the same design, it's a copy. And I have, I didn't want to travel with my Waterford. Well, I do have plenty of Waterford here today, but these were easier. And I placed the ribbons here to add a bit of an embellishment. So I will place those right here for serving later. Maybe I'll move this plateau back just a wee bit. It was hard to leave a lot of things behind with my new collection, but at some point I just had to say, I have enough to bring today. Whatever I could fit in a suitcase, and I think that's quite nice. With the fisherman and fisherwoman, I may place them like this. And just wait until it comes alive when we have the party favors on the table and all the extras. Maybe I'll just place this around our cake plateau. I forgot that I had the florist fill these as well. It's a trio of chinoiserie vases that I found on Amazon. I think they were about $20 for all 3. Wouldn't that be a great item to have on hand, and you just pull one vase and fill it with some beautiful flowers for a friend's birthday. Maybe give them a gift card with it. I think that's really fun. So now that I have these that I had forgotten about, I will just randomly place them here on our buffet to add a bit of color. I think that's really pretty. Just when I thought I had the buffet finished, I remembered that I had this gorgeous arrangement that Cornelius Florist made for me. And let me just set this here for a second. Obviously, this is where our cake is gonna go. This I found at Home Goods, Marshall's Home Goods, and it was $20. I think it's fabulous. I just love it. It has sort of a squarish shape. And I'm going to place it right here and rework this That will give us some height, and it will balance out that large ginger jar on the other side. And it's okay if I end up putting things up and don't utilize everything, but I do think that I can rework it just enough that we can probably use most of these design elements. So flexibility is very important when you are not only planning a party, but executing it too. Imagine that it's an extension of your home when you're at an event. You can build it and create it however you like. And you know, we might even separate the Fisher people and have them on opposite sides to balance it out. It's so much easier to travel with a suitcase when you're bringing supplies to an offsite event rather than bringing in box after box, because we had plenty of boxes of florals today. It's all in the details, and your guests will certainly remember that when you spend lots of time thinking through all the aspects of a party. And it's nice when you can do things ahead of time as well. The menus, I think, really set the tone for an event. And the easiest way that I create menus is to go to a store like Hobby Lobby and get scrapbook paper and cut it to size, and then I print out the menu with an icon or design that goes with my theme. But in this case, I was unable to find any scrapbook paper with the Chinoiserie theme. I could have gone blue and white, but it wasn't working for me. So I ended up going to Etsy and buying digital files. And that worked really well to actually use a computer program to overlay the menu on top of it. And that way I didn't have to put two pieces of paper together and tie it with a ribbon. And I used the design for my invitation. And that's another idea if you go to Etsy to get a digital file. So I will place a custom menu at each place setting. Since we are a large event, we need to select 2 appetizers, 3 entrees, and dessert will be birthday cake. Your guests will certainly enjoy to have something to take home, and I like cookie favors. I think that you can adapt them to your theme. This is a company called Sift and Swirl. It's a lady that's a home baker, and she's been written up in magazines recently. She's amazing. This is my first order with her, and she's given me some Mary Beth cookies, so I think that's a lot of fun. And let's take a look. I haven't opened this yet. I started to last night, but then I thought, no, I better wait. It's such pretty packaging. So let's open it together. I see some beautiful roses on top. And she did ask for some pictures of the Chinoiserie digital files that I ordered. I think she may have done some hand painting. Her labels are so nice, I almost hate to take that off. Okay, so, oh, how beautiful. Look at these cookies. Oh, they're works of art. And here she has done some hand painting. Look at her flowers. It's too pretty to eat. And I like that she does an assortment. Look at her roses. Oh, they're just exquisite. I wonder how many designs she's created. Let's pull these out. And I will place one at each setting for my guests. Oh, because I'm 50. Look at this. She's created a 50 birthday cake. That's very sweet. How nice. Oh, I see more. Oh, it's getting more exciting. That's the double happiness that I so enjoy. And how appropriate for my 50th birthday. Oh, look at all these designs. They really are too pretty to eat. And I think, oh, yeah, I think that represents all the designs. So now I'll get these placed at the place setting. And I always like to have extras too for the servers so that they have a little treat to take home as well. They're volunteers here at the Junior League. And let me get busy placing all of this for my guests, and then I'll circle back and I'll visit with you before the party starts. Okay, I'm placing the fans, and then I'll come around with the cookies. It's also good to make a list too. I even had a list leaving the house today of don't forget, and there were probably about 15 items on that list. I'm just glad to finally be here and to be able to host today and receive my guests. I'm so excited. And it's the small celebrations in life that make it so important. And always take time, whether it's honoring a friend or hosting your friends to celebrate your life. And I think that's just enough decor. You know, I could have added a lot more. I could have brought some more design elements that I've showcased and shared with you, but I think I think we've reached our saturation point, and I think it's just absolute perfection. Grab some of these cookies. Aren't they just gorgeous? The double happiness is so special, and she hand painted these. So if you're in the Houston area, I highly recommend that you look into Sift and Swirl. She's becoming quite well known. And I like to stagger these so that the designs are not just across from each other. That way when your guests are looking, they see something of interest. Can we have one more menu down here? I did print a few extras just in case something got wet. Oh, I love the look of all of this. Isn't that fabulous? And it looks like we might have enough cookies to save the Mary Beth cookies. That might really be a bonus from the baker, I'm not sure. But it for sure will hold my place at the table. And you know, that's another idea, is you could actually have your guests' names put on the cookies, and that could be a sort of place card. I was introduced to a local baker recently who has a company called La Ganache, and she is a French lady and makes authentic macarons. And she was actually inspired by one of my segments on tulips and tulipiers. She didn't realize that she had a flower box that I featured. It was packed away after a move, and she went to find it and decided to design some macarons based on this flower box, of which, you know, I had the same one in the video. And so I contacted her and said, I know we were introduced by a fellow friend, but I wanted to see if maybe you could make these for my birthday party. And I picked these up this week, and she has hand painted them. I think her daughter actually did this work. And look how lovely they are. And I've ordered plenty of macarons so that each guest can have one on their dessert plate with their cake. And there are different flavors. I think we have a chocolate, a vanilla, and I believe a lemon cream. So I will place these in our beautiful Waterford crystal and cobalt blue pieces that we've put on the buffet. But originally my 50th birthday was going to be a navy and white striped tablecloth with sort of a modern look and gold accents. And then when it became a luncheon, I decided, no, I really want to have more of a feminine look. And I changed it up, which is perfectly fine. I had ordered some linens, but they weren't expensive from Balsa Circle, so not a problem at all. And you know, that's what I appreciate about all these local bakers and artisans, is that, and my hands are clean, I just washed them, that I've been able to incorporate so many of these wonderful elements to my party with all of their talents. And that's something that I definitely appreciate. It looks like a beautiful piece of Delft, doesn't it? Look at that macaron. I think we have a raspberry filling as well. I see that here. It's just amazing. And that's another thing I've talked about in some of my videos, is that Delft was actually inspired by Chinoiserie. And you see so many similarities here. It's just gorgeous. And the unexpected is always nice when your guests arrive at a party and they see just something unusual that is not part of their everyday landscape. Oh, I cannot wait for my guests to arrive and get excited about me spoiling them today too, because even though it's my birthday celebration, it's really about all these great friendships that we have built over time. And the blue and white chinoiserie really lends itself to so many looks. You can dress it up or down. That's what I like. As you probably saw in my recent episode with the willow green, it really toned it down and brought natural elements to it. And this is a bit more posh and fancy, which is what I'm all about. I wanted to go with my style for my birthday, but you could certainly change the look. In fact, if I host a charity luncheon here next spring, I think I will add those natural elements for a ladies group, and I think that would be really nice. Well, everything is party ready. I am waiting on the cake. My friend has graciously offered to pick up and bring, since it wasn't quite the way we ordered it, but I know it'll be just perfect. The baker has already called and they've corrected it, so I know that it's all gonna be good. There's no reason to stress on party day, even if you have some hiccups. And we have requested cranberry slushes. They're non-alcoholic drinks that will be served shortly as guests arrive. And I'm happy to see it all come together. I really like the touch of pink with the blue and white chinoiserie. I think that adds such an interest. And it's something that I could use again, these table runners and a lot of these design elements. And even the same guests might not remember that it was a similar party because I would change it up. So that's a really neat thing. And I like how I have put these 3 layers together. At first I thought it was not quite right, but then once you place everything on top, I think it really needs it. And the blue is very subtle. And I really like these macarons. I think that just adds another design. So I'm gonna have some ice water and then wait on guests and the delicious cranberry slushes that are to come. It's now 30 minutes before guests arrive and I can relax. And that's the beauty of arriving early, or at least if you're at home, you can start your preparations early so that you look relaxed as guests arrive. And I'm really pleased to see it all come together today. As I mentioned, I've planned this in my mind for some time now, and ultimately I wanted it to be a reflection of my personality and style, and it doesn't mean that I have to have had chinoiserie for years to represent my style. It's something that I have discovered recently, and I do have many elements in my home that reflect this design. But the blue and white collection is rather new for me, as I've shared with you in a recent episode. And I was able to acquire everything rather affordably, and I borrowed a couple of pieces as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But designing the party and seeing all these elements come together, it's so rewarding. And whether you're hosting a baby shower or bridal luncheon or your own party, keep in mind the guest of honor and represent their personality a bit and what they enjoy. And it is really rewarding to be able to open the doors of your home or here at the Junior League and welcome guests and to feel like you have given your best effort and you will show them a good time. Well, since we have some time before guests arrive, I'm just going to walk around and make sure everything is just right. I'm enjoying these centerpieces. And my plan is to sit at each table today. My husband is here and he's going to be my placeholder at the other table so that after the entree is enjoyed, I will move over to the second table to have time with my guests. And it looks like we have not forgotten any details. Everyone has their 2 party favors, menu, and we've already served ice water. And then of course they can order beverage of choice. We've got some great items on the menu today. Our guests can choose between a mixed green salad or tortilla soup, and I have had that recently. It's delicious. They do change their menu seasonally. And the entree choices are chicken and spinach crepes. That's served with a beautiful orchid as a garnish, and it's just a beautiful presentation. And the pork picanha I did have with a friend recently, delicious. I'll get that today. And the beef tenderloin taco salad looks like a crown. They serve it in an amazing taco shell. And I think these are all good choices. It's hard to narrow it down because their menu is so wonderful, but I think this gives a good variety of options. And of course, if we have a friend that has a food request, vegetarian, that sort of thing, we can certainly order off of this fixed menu and get them whatever they need. I am ready to receive guests, and I'm quite pleased with how everything turned out. Thanks so much for coming along today as I set up my celebration at the Junior League of Houston. I'm glad to see the blue and white chinoiserie come together with the cobalt crystal. I plan to use this in other areas of table settings in the future. And as designed, the cake is the showstopper and belle of the ball today. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with celebrations.